Attention, bobsled riders! You will soon be embarking on a thrilling podcast down the icy slopes of the Matterhorn. So please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the bobsled at all times. Auf Wiedersehen! Hello, yodelers. We are the Matterhorn Yodelers. I am your host today, Peter, with my co-host,
Japheth.
and
Jackie?
and
Father Yodeler.
that's right, and we're back again. We are reviewing the next era of Disney animated movies.
I'm gonna be sad when this goes.
I know, we're
I've
running
got
out.
some.
Well, isn't this the last one,
No,
basically?
there's
Well, I mean, we're not covering all the movies up to present time. Who knows when we'll get to that? But this cup is I think what was it, like 7 years, 6, 7, 8 years, something like that.
the window. Yeah, it started with Tiana, which was 2010.
Mm-hmm. And then the last one on our list that we're doing. There's a lot of discussion as to where this list ends. We decided to cut it off at Moana because after that point we start getting into sequel territory, and I feel like that's a different era.
So
Yeah.
this includes Zootopia, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Because that came out before Moana. Okay.
Was Zootopia before Moana?
Zootopia came out. I've got it right here.
I looked
March 2016, and Moana came out November 2016.
That's what Wikipedia told me.
Okay,
so
well then I didn't put that on my list. I need to add that to my list.
That makes it more complicated, huh?
It does. It does make things more complicated. Actually, not too complicated.
I was debating between that and another one of going, which one is better? And it was just.
I'll probably put it here.
So there's total of 8 movies.
What?
yes,
2, 3,
8.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes.
Good job, you can count till
I can.
8.
What you can't, what the listeners can't see is that I was counting the different movies I have on my notes. So the movies that we're going to go over are Tangled. We have Wreck-It Ralph, Big Hero 6, the Winnie the Pooh movie, Zootopia, Frozen, and Moana.
Princess and the Frog.
Yes.
And they called
Princess and the
this
Frog.
era what?
This was called the
The
revival.
revival?
The revival era.
You know, like there's the Spanish revival.
Yes.
This is kind of like Golden Age revival.
So and I will say this.
Who declares the names of these?
I don't
The same
know.
people that decide who are millennials and who's Gen X.
I know. This was a hard list for me to compile. Like, I sat there and I was even talking with my wife, and I'm all like, I don't know where to put this. Because I think all of these movies are good movies.
They
There
are.
are some excellent movies in here.
This is a great era. Like,
I think just about every movie's better than everything from like the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
from the, the experimental era.
I think it would be interesting to compare like the top like the best ones from each one and see where they actually
See
fall
how that
in.
falls. Yeah.
I'll have to compile a list of
Yeah.
what everybody did in each era, and then we can kind of compare like which one's better. Like
Right.
come up with the top 5 for each, and
Bracket
then which one
it.
we could bracket it, and then kind of go the bottom ones for each era, like which ones are truly just like, good job, you guys tried.
Right.
Here's your little trophy.
What's the best of the best and what's the worst of the worst?
Yes.
So, all right. So we're going to start things off with number 8. What were your guys' number 8?
Winnie the Pooh.
Pooh for you.
Big Hero 6.
Big Hero 6.
Whoa, no.
I had Frozen.
Frozen is
Frozen
your number
was
8?
my number 8.
Is it
that
the
because
burnout
you're
phase?
Is it the
tired?
burnout of it? Because with Frozen, I had to reflect on when it first came out and my excitement of it.
And this is not to say Frozen is a bad movie. No, Frozen is a good movie. It's a great movie. But when I'm compiling the list and I go, which movie do I want to watch? This one was the bottom one of the list. And so out of all the movies, this is the least one that I wanted to watch at the time. And granted, this could change over years or whatever on my perspective, but as of right now, that's how I had to judge it off of like which one excites me to watch. And this one I don't feel the excitement to watch.
So it is partially the burnout.
I think it is partially the burnout for me. but I imagine Frozen's a little higher on your guys' list, so we'll talk about
It
Frozen
is
a little
higher
bit
on my
later.
list, and I had that debate too of like what's burnout and what's actually a good story.
Mm-hmm.
What's a complete story?
Right.
And you know you have the factors of music.
Yeah.
You know, and
Original music, and because there's movies with like original music, and then there's a set of movies that don't have any original.
and I also go off of what I felt when I first saw it, and then what I felt later after I watched it a couple of times. What grew on me, like Encanto is one of those films where I saw it first and I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
And then
Then later you're like, this movie's great.
Yeah.
You know, it's a slow burn, you know, but this one,
So do we want to talk like Winnie the Pooh? Is that a fair one to start
I
with?
think Winnie the Pooh is low enough.
that one,
it was number 7 for me.
it was 6 for me.
Okay.
So-
The Winnie the Pooh, I actually watched it last night because I was like, I don't remember this. And
It's such a cute movie.
it's cute. And they have
It's
some little
fun.
modern jokes.
I love the Baxon song.
Yes.
I jam out to the Baxon, the Baxon. Oh, I love that song. It's so much fun.
It's the Winnie the Pooh movie. Like, I watched it with Mark. Mark had never seen it, and he's like, "This is so great. I love this." And that's like the overall vibe. But it's so hard when this movie is competing against all the other movies. You're
This
just
is a
like,
top tier movie. Like this amazing Winnie for a Winnie the Pooh movie, and there's a lot of them. This one is easily the best one.
The quality is like, I was watching, I was like, yeah, this is definitely not the 1977 version. This is crisp and clean and very
Hey.
neat.
But I like the animation from the original.
Because it feels like it's from a book.
yes.
If it has that.
The if you compare the Poos and everything,
Right.
the artistry is so much better in the original.
Sure.
So I give it a knockdown on points
Sure.
on
One
that.
thing-
But
I didn't like the voice of Christopher Robin.
I didn't like him either.
Yeah, I wish
It was
they
a little
did-
too much of a girl. There's time I was like, is Christopher Robin a girl?
it wasn't Christopher Robin. Like, they had a different accent.
Same with Owl. Owl wasn't really the same either.
Yes.
So,
No, it was
Well,
it
Al
was the
was-
Scottish old TV host,
Yeah.
the night
Yeah.
show.
I remember him from the Drew Carey
The
show.
Drew Carey show, The Boss, yes. I'm still waiting for that one to come out on a streaming.
Maybe.
It is. It's just not on a major one.
Yeah, it was produced by WB.
I think it's on like
That's why.
Tubi or something like that.
Yeah, so Winnie the Pooh, like, I wanted to rank it higher, but I couldn't.
I think it would definitely be in the top 3 in the experimental era.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's a victim of a very successful era.
The reason why I ranked it number 7, it's not at the bottom, is there was original music
Mm-hmm.
in it. And that's one that bumped it up for me.
It was good.
Come on, you don't like Fall Out Boy singing in Big Hero 6?
I like that song. I've seen them perform it live, and it's fun and it's good. But like, so Big Hero 6 was bottom for me, and one of the reasons I don't know. I've watched.
Is it a boy movie?
I just don't connect to it.
It's a boy movie.
It's such a boy movie.
It's a boy
it is a
movie.
comic book movie, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it is a Marvel movie.
Yep.
Um,
Even got the Stan Lee cameo.
yeah.
That one was my number 3.
Wow.
Oh,
Yes.
Boy, we are all over the place.
We were this one. We are not close to each other at all. So for me, Big Hero 6. That's my number 3. I think the story is amazing. It is a well-written story. Each character is fantastic.
You like every character on that team.
Right. There's not a single person in the movie that I'm like, about. Like every single one. Maybe the closest one is like the corporate guy. I forget his name.
Yeah, the one, the husband of the daughter that
No,
gets
he's-
sucked into the.
No. The CEO that everyone thinks is the bad guy.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he's
yeah.
not.
He was the husband of the girl that got sucked into the
Was that
void.
his?
Yeah, they
was
were
that-
married.
I didn't realize that they
Yeah.
were married. Okay, but yeah, him like even like he was probably the closest as like
Yeah,
character.
you cut him out and you'd be like, oh yeah, he's forgettable.
But like everyone else, the villain, all the characters, even the side characters, Aunt Cass, awesome. You know,
The internet loves
Baymax,
Aunt Cass.
yeah, for different reasons. But Baymax, hilarious. You know, hero. All of them.
I actually had a T-shirt with Baymax. It was when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, and so you had "I am Groot" and you had "I am Baymax." You know, as they were conversing. It was a fun shirt, but then I started wearing it out like in 2023, and I was like, I don't think anybody gets the joke anymore.
It's also my father-in-law's favorite Disney movie.
He's
always
he's an inventor.
He's an inventor.
And this movie's all about inventing.
All about engineering and they're very because he looks at it and he understands all the technical stuff that they're saying because it's real.
The movie hooks you first with the robot fights and then the
Yes.
escape. That's like an Indiana Jones kind of like start.
It's funny because like the technology that they use in Big Hero 6 is like that black like nanotech kind of thing. It kind of when the Imagineer announced like the moving floor tile things, that's what
You think of
triggered-
that stuff now.
that triggered my mind of like, oh, it's the same thing in Big Hero 6.
Microbots.
Yeah.
I had Big Hero 6 at number 6.
That was your 6.
That was 6.
I just
It made
felt
it
like-
easier.
The only reason why I didn't make it higher was it didn't have that original music that
The music doesn't pull you into it.
Right. I mean, granted, like the music, the soundtrack is really good. But there's not like original like sing along
It's-
music. Granted, it's not that type of movie.
No, it's like it's a Marvel film.
And that's why I didn't necessarily knock it down for that because it's not that sort of movie.
Yeah.
I'm
What
trying.
are your thoughts on?
I was just trying to think what their song would be. You know, their part of your world song. What would be
it's
It would probably be
it's
some.
the Fallout Boy
It's the
song.
Fall Out Boy
It's the
song
Fall
when
Out
they're
Boy
building
song, yeah.
themselves up before the fight
Yeah,
and
they're-
training. That was it.
Yeah.
It was good. It's memorable. I'm hearing it in my head, which is so it was impactful enough to.
Definitely gets you pumped up.
I'm glad
Yeah.
this one was not a musical.
Yes, I agree. I don't think it would work as a musical.
Come on, Rogers, the
It would
musical.
be funny to see Baymax singing "I am Baymax." Yeah.
My number 7 is Zootopia.
That's where mine is.
Mine's 6.
So we're all in the same group of like keeping it down. I have it so low because they always play it at my pediatrician's, and so I've seen it a million times. Like even my own daughter's like, no, I don't need to watch it. I've seen it enough.
Zootopia is a really cute movie.
It is. I agree.
That one could have used some original songs. That
Yeah.
one might have worked better as a musical.
Well, you had the Shakira song.
Yeah.
Try
Yeah.
everything.
It was a pop song. That was infused. Yeah, that was it's a fine song,
To
but
me, it felt more like a Pixar movie than it did a Disney movie.
Yeah.
I agree.
Um.
Not that it's wrong to be a Pixar film,
No, but it had a Pixar vibe to it.
I enjoy just like the little like I don't know, the little jokes or like the ratio of like big to small, like with like the little hamsters and the
Oh,
big
yeah, the jokes are
elephants.
great.
The jokes were so good and like the big popsicle and the little popsicles.
I think one of the reasons why I ranked it so low because I think it was also giving me DreamWorks vibes in the sense of like
yeah.
it's a series of joke upon joke upon joke. It's a joke movie.
If you think of like the Shrek films,
Right.
Yeah.
they're all like little jokes building and
Right.
yeah.
And so it's like
Better
okay,
like the comedian.
What little joke are we saying in this scene? And in this scene, like, yeah, there were some heavy scenes and things like that. Yes, like there was a good story to it. I think it's better than a DreamWorks typical
Oh
film.
yeah.
Yes.
But it did give me that vibe of like, oh, we're doing stereotypes of animals.
Yeah.
We're gonna make fun of the different stereotypes of animals. Like, oh, we're gonna have the nudist colony. Oh, it's funny. You know, like some of those scenes maybe may not have been necessary, but like they're doing it for the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt when I watch this movie, I feel overwhelmed with the universe. I feel too small. It's just so grand.
Yes.
And I
It's a lot
feel like
to
I get
take
lost in it. And I don't feel my mind just wanders too much with like how the logistics of this works, you know, and I think that's the success of Coco and building such a massive city for a story,
Right.
they took it and put it in this, and I felt overwhelmed. At least in Coco, you're like, you could go from like scene to scene, like it could be put into like a movie set. This movie was just too grand and too big for me. But that's just a personal preference for me with it. That's the one thing I noticed. I'm like, oh, I just feel overwhelmed.
Are you guys looking forward to Zootopia 2?
Yeah, absolutely.
No. Only if my pediatrician
I'll
doesn't
say
put
this.
it in.
I'll say this: that there was a time. If you were to ask me a couple years ago if I'm excited, I would be, eh. But seeing what they did with Inside Out 2 gave me a little bit more confidence in the direction that they're starting to go now. Because I thought Inside Out 2 they did a really great job with that.
That's one
And I know
seen.
I know it's a different studio, but it's still the same. Same people.
We're having very similar problems in both studios.
Right, correct. And so I think I feel optimistic that they're going to go the proper direction. They need to tell the story that needs to be told and not shoehorn personal beliefs and things like that
Yeah.
into the story.
It's just, I don't know. I don't. The two main characters, they're fine, but I never liked them. No, I don't like them,
Sure.
but I just don't like. Oh, I just love Judy. I just
Sure.
don't. I don't really care.
Not likable characters. And I
It's
get
not they're
that.
not likable. I just don't care.
Right.
You don't connect with them.
Don't connect with them.
So which one was this one for you?
This was number 7.
7. And what was number 8? Winnie the Pooh?
Winnie the Pooh.
Oh,
So
okay.
my 8 is Winnie the Pooh, Zootopia 7, and Big Hero 6 is at 6.
Okay. So,
My next one, my number 5, is Wreck-It Ralph.
same.
It's hard to break that tier. Mm-hmm. But it's
4.
good.
4.
It's 4.
It's 4.
So honestly, I just watched Wreck-It Ralph, and I was like, I think this is honestly the first time I've seen it like all the way through. And I was watching it, and I was like, this is actually pretty good.
It's a great movie.
It's a dark horse film.
It
You're not
is.
expecting it,
No.
and it comes through.
And you get emotional at the end
Yeah.
when Ralph goes to sacrifice himself. Like, oh, that moment when he's given the Badanon theme. You know, I'm a bad guy. Oh man, I'm
Yeah.
like getting emotional. Like, oh yeah, yeah. You know, like you feel for him. Like his coming to the light moment was like.
But
oh,
it's part
so
of his
good.
arc, his hero
Yes.
journey. He had to go
Yeah.
through this.
Right, and so like the moment where he chose to not be selfish.
I also loved the love story in it between Fix-It Felix.
And yes,
The
commander.
Yeah.
I forget her name, but yes,
I thought that was
fun.
cute. Fun.
It was cute.
Cute.
You're one dynamite gal, dynamite gal, dynamite gal.
Yeah, I just enjoy it. I remember not having any expectations for it. I'm not a big video game person, but I remember watching it probably like 6 months after it came out in theater. And I was like, this was really
It
good.
was well done. There was even certain cameos I was surprised to see. I was surprised to see Sonic in there. You had Bowser.
Yep.
You had Robotnik was in there. They had some Street Fighter characters in there. Like,
So you had some Sega.
yeah, there was a lot of Sega.
Sega's like, use us. Don't forget about us.
Yeah.
I know, right?
We are relevant.
Yeah,
Like-
I'm not sure this was written for my generation. But
It's, and that's true.
It's
It really
very
is a
true.
millennial and late Gen X
Mm-hmm.
generation that really got hit with it. And yeah, for sure.
But I felt the story was good. And yeah, I think, again, I'm on the video game side of things. You know, I wouldn't call myself a big gamer, but I do enjoy playing video games. And so it's a fun reference to see them, make those fun inside
It
joke
had a Dumbo,
references.
not Dumbo. It had a Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where you're looking for the little cameos, and they're like, "Oh, you're in this? Oh,
Right.
welcome to the fun." It
Right.
was, yeah, it's a fun adventure with Ralph, and as he
Yeah.
grows, but it's hard to compete with the other stories.
It's hard to compete against the princesses.
Yeah, you're dealing with really good arcs for them, and Disney's go-to and make millions, or the princess,
Yeah.
and that's where all mine end up.
Yeah.
They're in the top 4 for me.
Not
Mhm.
for me.
Uh,
Peter must be part of the
Oh,
dark side.
I've got the dark side here. Can we
Yeah.
talk about Frozen now?
Sure, talk
yeah,
about Frozen.
let's talk-
Because that
yeah.
was my number 8.
Sure,
Frozen's number 4 for me.
it's number 3. It's tough between Moana and Frozen.
Mhm.
It's like a toss-up.
For me, I remember when Frozen came out, and this is what I was going off of memory-wise for this ranking, was when Frozen came out, I was obsessed with it. I loved it.
The music
The
was a home
music is
run.
good.
The music is
Music
great.
is a home run.
And
You're not wrong.
I still love listening to the music today. And you know, the Disney brought like the Frozen sing along, and I loved that in the parks.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of my go-to when I was working in Florida, because I could always get in and say see, and I always had a good time, and I just made me fall in love with the music more. So that's why Frozen's number 4.
All right. You want me to be poo-poo
Yeah,
on
poo-poo
it?
on
start
it.
poo-poo.
Poo-poo on it. I hate the main characters. I hate Anna and Elsa. They are not likable to me. They like I do enjoy watching them.
Why aren't they likable?
I just feel that like I can't connect to the person that wants to be alone the whole time. You know, she's so secluded. You don't know anything about her except she has magical powers.
Really, you
and
have
she's hiding
kids?
it.
You can't imagine a life with seclusion? Oh man, if I could just have
Like her.
10 minutes. Like, she's so lucky she gets a room to herself. She gets special gloves, and she just gets to be alone. Her annoying little sister's like, welcome out, Blight. Like, leave me alone.
And then Anna is just super annoying the whole time. I
Oh,
can't.
she's so
I
quirky.
love Anna.
See sunshine, but
No.
too much of it gets
I
you.
definitely don't see it that way.
No.
And maybe it's because I'm also associating similar feelings I've connected with the sequel movie with their character arcs, because it's their character arcs are a little different in each movie, and so they're a little different. But maybe I'm associating it a little bit with that, and so I don't like their story arcs of what happens in the end. Maybe that's influencing me a little bit, but like I just don't have any desire. Like, the music's the hit.
Yes.
I enjoy all the music. I will listen to the music, but I don't care about the movie. I don't care about the story. I just don't care.
I do agree. The storyline itself in Frozen is the weaker of the movie, and that's why it's number 4 of all the princess movies of this generation or this era. So that's why it's number 4
It's the
for
weakest.
me. It's the movie,
in my opinion,
the writing.
it's the weakest story of all of these movies. In my opinion.
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh is...
We're gonna get Eeyore a tail. Boom! I summed it up. Like, that's the whole
Yeah.
thing.
But
like,
Winnie the Pooh's supposed to be simple like that.
I get it, but you're saying it's the weakest story.
It
I
is.
summed up Winnie the Pooh. It's a chapter. At least with the other movies with Winnie the Pooh, they were like different adventures. This
Yeah.
was an hour and 30 minutes of like, where's Eeyore's
and
tail?
I enjoyed every moment.
And
of
that's
it.
great. But my feeling of the one-liner of the story is reflected in its ranking of being dead last. So I disagree with Frozen's story.
And I'm not saying, like, all of these movies are great.
They are all good.
We
And
gotta fight about something.
Exactly. I have to say something negative about it because I did rank it last.
Yeah,
so.
and I get it.
I have to say that all I hear are a million little girls booing Peter right
Boo
now.
me, boo me. It only feeds me, makes me stronger. Your tears give me
Burn
power.
him! Burn him!
What I like about their personalities is they're so different.
It is.
And there's different girls that relate so much to Elsa and to Anna, to where they're just like, I'm an Anna. Like, they're different teams, but yet they're sisters.
And the impact of this movie to the world was huge. I just
Sure.
remember when the movie came out.
So was Lion King, but we ranked that one pretty low too.
It's an animal talking movie.
But, like, I just remember going to the grocery store and just hearing little girls singing Let It Go.
And and again, the music is a home run.
Yes.
It's a home run. All the songs, thumbs up. Well, I wouldn't say all the songs, but most of the songs, thumbs up.
What song do you not like? No, I need to
Fixer Upper's kind of a little
know.
weak.
It's the Shiny song.
Right. It's the
It's the chef song in Little Mermaid. There's always a
And-
song where
and
it's like you could
even-
cut it out and the movie will move forward.
And even, Olaf's song. I'm not a fan of that song either.
I wasn't a fan of Olaf at first.
Well, you don't like Olaf.
I'm not a fan of I actually like Olaf Frozen 2.
I like Olaf Frozen
because he's
2,
all
not
like
Frozen 1.
inquisitive and like
Right.
and he just spouts off random things in his head. I'm like, oh, I can relate to Olaf now. I'm a snowman head now.
He's more likable in the second movie than he is in the first movie.
I haven't really watched the second one, and
Watch the second one and you just see the characters go flat. Like Kristoff's nothing. Anna's this ball of worry. And then Elsa's like, I'm on my own journey. Forget you. I'm chasing the butterfly off the cliff.
hate it.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the fact that Disney broke the princess mold with
Exactly.
this movie. They
It
broke
was.
Yeah.
it, and it was a success. And why was it a success? Because it was good.
It was good. The
And then they tried to repeat it and kept failing.
That's always a challenge.
but what was refreshing was
they were repeating it, but didn't have music. that's where they.
it was the music wasn't as good in the second one. What was refreshing is that a man wasn't needed to save the day.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
love was between sisters, and that was a powerful
Sure. Yes.
story.
Sure.
You were
it
like-
had a good message at the end.
It really did.
It was a fun twist.
You're like, oh, Kristoff isn't really saving the day, but it's good that Kristoff likes Anna, but it's really the love of the sisters that was needed to complete it, and that was great. And everyone at the end walked out and going, I haven't seen that princess movie. Good job, Disney.
Right.
And I think that's what
Sure.
helped push it up.
Okay.
But there is Frozen Burnout, and I think that's
yes.
what
Oh,
pushed
yeah.
it down for me.
For sure. I mean, if you ask me today, like, oh, you want to watch Frozen, I'm gonna be like, no, thanks.
Nah, I'm good.
I'll just listen to the music.
I got a little
Exactly.
girl. I-
And that's why I was like, which one do I want to? I don't want to watch Frozen, and so that's why I had to end up putting it at
Yeah.
the bottom because
And-
out of all of them, that's the only one where I'm
and
like,
that's
I
the
don't
hard
wanna
thing with
watch.
Frozen is like, are we talking about the height of Frozen or are we talking about Burnout Frozen?
And I think that's where it takes into
Well, and that's the thing, and I think Burnout Frozen is a part of where it's going to how it's going to stand in the grand scheme of
it
things.
has to fight.
Are people going to be like, oh yeah, I was totally into it for the first 2-3 years, but I'm done with it 20 years later? Does it have legs that it started with? Is it a sprinter or is it an endurance?
I
or
think
is a
it
distance?
has.
Does
It
have
relates to
legs?
different generations. It's going to be one of those films that every little girl is going to watch and is going to want to be an Elsa or Anna.
Yes.
I mean, my daughter was born 10 years after, and she was yesterday dressed up as Elsa.
Yeah.
And she got the makeup on, and then she was going. Choo, choo, choo.
Yeah, out of
I mean,
Halloween
it's-
costumes, I gotta say it's gonna rank way up towards the top.
And I'm not going to
compared to
disagree
any
with
of
you.
the
The
other
cultural impact of this movie was huge. I'm not going to disagree with that. It was.
Yeah.
It's yeah. It just I think it touches, the inner child, for the adult and the little kid. That it just like it hits it, and it's like this is good.
And it's got great consumer products too.
Man, it's
They
like half a
sell.
Target still.
The movie's so successful. It's too successful to put Anna and Elsa as part of the Disney princess line. They're not technically Disney princesses.
Yeah, I still don't understand
I
that.
don't get that.
It's because they're so popular just on their own that they would overshadow all the other princess line.
Oh,
And
you're
so-
saying at Disneyland.
They're worried about princess jealousy.
Consumer.
They
everything.
don't list them.
They
as-
don't list them as Disney princesses. They list them as Frozen, Anna, and Elsa. They're not labeled as Disney princesses yet.
Yeah, we'll see.
Eventually. Number 3 is Moana.
Moana.
That was 2 for
That was
me.
number 4 for me. It's a toss up. It was a coin toss between the two.
Between Frozen and Moana.
I think what killed me was like, Moana sings like the same song twice. Like, I need to reassure myself I'm doing this. I think that's what kind of like.
And there's some place somewhere in the ocean where it kind of loses me there.
That's it.
I just kind of wander off and say, okay, is it going to move on now?
I was 2 or 3 with this, and I think the thing that pushed me over was the music.
Yeah.
The music is excellent.
That's what
What did you rank this, Peter?
2.
Okay, yeah.
So Big Hero. It was between Big Hero 6 and Moana for the 2 slot, and I was just like, I don't know, like they're both good. Like the story's really good in Big Hero 6. The story's okay in Moana, but like it's visually very pretty, and the music is fantastic. And so, like, and I get emotional watching the movie. I connect with the story and the message that they're trying to portray. And so that's what kind of pushed it up for me.
Yeah. I also like the cultural of it. You know.
The incorporation of the Pacific Islander
Yes,
culture.
and the family like unit that they promote in that with like I love the relationship between Moana and the grandma.
Yes.
I like Boba Fett's voice in there. He's
Yeah.
the chief's voice.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Well, don't go beyond the roof.
We ride it like a bantha. Like a bantha.
They're like, Bantha, what are you talking about? Must be another life in a galaxy far, far away.
The one thing that there's a couple of things with Moana was I wanted the more I forgot what the pig's name.
Hey
Poa.
Hey.
Poa.
Poa.
Yeah, Hey Hey's the
I wanted
chicken.
more Poa than Hey
I think
Hey.
we're getting that in the sequel that's coming out. So
It was just like,
Bojack.
oh, Poa's so cute, and then it's just like, no, we're gonna focus on Hey Hey. You're
Yeah,
like,
they must-
I hope they give Hey Hey more of a backstory because it was something was missing.
He's a
they
survivor.
they literally should make a short of Hey Hey and his adventures.
It's like Forky.
Yeah.
yeah, you could easily do a Hey short story series. Absolutely.
He'd be like the Jack Sparrow of, but he's Hey Hey.
With going to Moana, I think Moana's a great, strong character, and I think everyone just connected with her, and that's what makes it a good film, enough to make it a second
Yep.
go around.
I also like
It's
Olaf's.
it's also the most popular Disney movie on Disney Plus. It is
Is
the
it?
most streamed movie on Disney Plus.
I also like Olaf's interpretation of Moana.
I am
Moana. Yeah.
Yeah, whenever my daughter puts that on, I was like, I'll do it. I am Moana.
It's just the same thing. I see Moana, and that's what I think.
They nailed it on that one. It's just a good journey.
Yeah.
It's got a feel-good ending.
Solid, good.
I like Shiny. I know you guys don't, but I love Shiny.
The song is fine. It just doesn't fit.
It's the throwaway song.
It is a throwaway song, but I still enjoy it.
It had the opposite effect in the movie that We Don't Talk About Bruno did
Same thing.
in Encanto. It was
Right.
the opposite effect. I was totally not into Encanto until it got to,
We Don't
what's
Talk
this
About
song? We don't
Bruno.
talk about Bruno. And all of a sudden, it
Oh.
all changed. And then it was the same with Moana, except in reverse. We were going great gangbusters, and then what is this? Somebody's grinding the gears, trying to shift gears.
I remember I was in the movie theater with friends, and we're watching Moana, and the Shiny song came on. I was like, what?
And I was like, yeah, this is good. It's catchy.
It's a good song. I don't have a problem with the song. It just doesn't fit the other themes of the music.
Yeah.
That's all.
No smooth transition there. Just out of
It's just
the,
like he just-
what?
Oh, okay. This is a unique song, and it's a villain song, which I'm always in favor of having villain songs.
They actually
wasn't
did
even
well
that-
when we did our competition between
Right.
when we were comparing the villain and hero song of a movie.
He wasn't even that great of a villain.
Well, that was the problem with Moana, is that there is no
True villain.
true villain.
the
It was
vil-
like,
the
okay,
volcano
then we
beast is
have,
scary, but you
There's
don't know
no
them.
leading villain.
Kakamoa, the coconuts, and then we go to
Was mostly
Shiny,
the,
then we
it,
go
it was
to-
Yeah.
more the father's attitude about we don't leave the island. That becomes
It's the King Triton,
the thing you have to overcome.
overbearing father.
the ocean.
I love him, Daddy. You're a mermaid. You're a Pacific Islander. You stay on the island. Yes, it was kind of cookie
Stop
cutter.
bringing Star Wars in this.
No, that was the Little Mermaid.
That was Little
I
Mermaid.
know.
Yeah, it's definitely very similar. I'm like, boy, dads can be really mean, but then like
Or Uncle Owens.
our uncle.
right.
Okay, let's talk about 1 and 2.
I have
Let's do Princess and the Frog.
Princess and the Frog's number 2 for me.
Number 1.
5.
Oh my gosh, you monster.
Let's hear the monster, and we'll have our own fun, Jackie.
Such a beautiful
It is.
animated
and
film.
again, all of these movies are great.
So what's above 5? I want to hear your what is 4, 3, and 2.
Wreck-It Ralph, Big Hero 6, Moana.
Ugh.
All right, let's hear the negative and then we'll talk about the positive.
dig into
This
it, Peter.
one had a similar effect, kind of like with Frozen, in terms of like, do I want to watch this? And the answer kept telling me no. But I couldn't justify putting it below Winnie the Pooh and Zootopia because it is a good movie. Okay, so like, and again, I don't really have anything negative to say about it. It just the other movies to me, I connected more with the other movies. Yeah, it's a fun story. I'm not necessarily a big fan of Prince Naveen. He's kind of a weak character to me.
None of the princes and princess movies are that.
I would
That's
disagree. I would disagree.
Okay, we're gonna get to Flynn.
I'm
All right.
not going to disagree with
He's
you.
not a prince though.
Oh.
Well, he does later on.
Yeah,
he does.
He does get engaged, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like that's a little weak. I feel that Tiana doesn't really learn her lesson that she's supposed to
Oh,
learn.
stop.
Totally does.
Stop working so hard. Oh, what a curse in life
She
to have.
totally learns her lesson.
Okay, let him finish.
She only learns her lesson when she has no other option. When she's like, I guess I'm a frog forever now. I guess I'll marry him.
No,
And then,
she chose that.
yeah, I get it. But like, it wasn't until she basically couldn't do what she wanted to do that she learned her lesson. It wasn't. I don't
disagree.
feel like it was a choice. It was more of like, well, that door's shut. I guess I'm gonna go down this road.
It absolutely
Well,
was
I think
a
that just
choice.
shows the character of her accepting what she's been given. She did everything she could
Right.
to get to the
But I
point
think-
of fixing her problem, but
but,
it just turns out it's luck.
I just feel that like it would have meant more if she learned that lesson without that door being shut in her face, sort of thing. Like she chose that beforehand. But and again, I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just telling you why I didn't necessarily connect it. I loved Lewis and I loved Ray. I love Evangeline.
Oh, Evangeline's
Like-
story brings a tear to the eye. I hear that.
Absolutely.
Facilier's
he's a
song.
great
Dr.
Villain.
Vasily is an excellent villain.
You want to ride that dark ride. You
Yes.
want to go into that room.
Mama
and,
Odie.
Mama Odie was fun. I felt a little underused, but she was fun.
She had a showstopper song.
She had a showstopper song, and then you just didn't see her for the rest of the movie until, oh yeah, I'm gonna officiate the wedding, and that was it. You know,
It's
like
tough when you got an
I know.
older
I get it.
character. You're like, you're gonna come along in our adventure. You know, like, I get it. She's good for her space.
Like I felt more connected with the side characters than I did with the main characters.
okay, I could
So-
see that.
So I think that's one of the reasons why I'm pulling back a little bit on Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, the two main characters, the two frogs, had to grow the most in the story.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of the other characters were steady in who they were and what they wanted.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's easier
Yes.
to like those characters and to enjoy those characters in a movie when you're watching, you know, traits of you're like, oh, a narcissist, oh, somebody who is so work involved. It's very hard to like those characteristics when you're, you know, watching a movie. So I could see that, you know.
Because like even in the end, I know
You
you,
didn't
guys.
get
I know
you didn't
guys
get
say-
hooked. You didn't get hooked by
I didn't
him.
get hooked. And again, kind of going back to the Tiana thing, like even in the end, you know, like yeah, she learned her lesson. Yeah, I'm with Prince Naveen now. and then she kind of just goes back to what she was before, where I'm a workaholic, I'm opening my restaurant, da 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 da.
No,
I don't
no,
necessarily,
no.
and granted, I
No,
know
no. I have strong
we are-
agreement.
Let him finish. I want to
we
hear.
are missing. There are things that we are missing from the post end of the movie. Okay,
Right, there's
we are
a
missing.
gap.
There's a gap where we're missing information, and that fills in that gap. And I think that's why I'm feeling disconnected.
So you don't like how they inferred, like they end the movie, they're saved, they're back to normal, and then boom,
And now
dreams
she-
acquired,
and
that's
I've
hard
got
for you to
my-
digest.
I've got my restaurant now, and everything's perfect. And so, like, I'm missing another story.
Well,
here.
did you
There's
want like
another
more little
story.
like shorts in the credits
I
to
would-
feed you that story?
Something,
Okay.
I would rather have that than have the scene where what's her name is flirting with a 10-year-old saying, "I'll wait for you." That
I thought it was.
It was a joking
I
matter,
thought it was
yeah.
funny
This is
because
Flip
of
it
their
around.
character.
flip
right?
it
This is
around,
Star
have it,
Wars.
Right.
have a dude and a 10-year-old girl being like, "I'll wait for you." Different story.
It is a different story, but it's the character not showing her growth and just showing her vapid,
Yes.
personality and
Yeah.
self-absorbed.
It's just a joke.
It is a joke. I get it. And it's supposed to be funny, but it's hard not to look at that from reality.
You I could see where you could flip it, but I didn't have that feeling when I saw it. I just thought it was like, oh, zebra can't change its stripes kind of like situation.
And
Or
again-
she's just making fun of herself.
Again, I'm
Or that.
not
Yeah.
saying this is a bad movie.
But that's how you
this
interpret
is
it.
just how I connected with it.
Okay.
So,
All right,
I
Jackie.
had to justify myself. That's all.
Jackie, you got the floor.
Okay.
What do you got to say about
So,
this number one film for you?
The Prince of the Frog is number one. Shocker. I mean, she's my favorite princess.
We always joke that was your kind of like theme song.
Yeah.
Gotta dig a little deeper.
I mean, she was just like my motto during college, I would say. Like I relate to her the most. And one of the other positive things I love about this movie was it was the last movie of the original hand artwork.
It was a good send off to that.
Well, it wasn't supposed to be the last. It was, yeah, we're gonna bring it back, and then the cost of the movie was like, we are not doing this again.
It's not effective.
We can't afford to do this anymore. We have to go the Pixar
So
route.
the artwork alone, that the hand drawn artwork, that's one of the main reasons why it notched up
Sure.
to number one. I love all the characters. I love the music. I can watch this all the time, every day.
It makes me want to go to New Orleans.
Yeah.
I've been there and I love going through there. And each time I watch the movie, I was like, oh, I want to go back.
I love that they converted the restaurant at Disneyland to Tiana's Palace. Great food.
Randy
enjoyed it.
Newman is such a great musician.
Yes.
He really is.
As much guff as he gets.
My
His
wife's
movie.
My wife's in the middle of watching Monk right now, so I'm always hearing the same song. There's a jungle out there.
I totally disagree with Peter's perspective on Tiana of how she didn't learn her a lesson, that like she's still a workaholic. And I'm like,
What was her lesson that she learned in this experience then to you?
to me was, yeah, one of the main things I love about Princess Tiana was, yeah, she had a goal and she's working towards that goal, but she was just narrow-minded towards that goal and wasn't letting, right? Her mom was like, you gotta go out dancing.
I want
You
grandbabies.
got to fall in love.
You gotta have fun. You gotta enjoy life, right?
Did she
Life
fall in
is-
love? She did.
And did she enjoy life on her adventure and growing? But yet, she didn't have to sacrifice her dream. She was still working towards that goal
That's a
that
good
she had
point.
at the beginning.
I agree. I see Peter's point where he observed her as just being a workaholic, and I don't think there's anything wrong with having good work
And there's
ethic.
nothing wrong with that.
But
I'm not saying there's
Jackie
anything wrong.
brought it up. No, I'm not saying you. It was you. You didn't see her grow from it. You wanted her to
Correct.
grow from that.
Right.
Jackie didn't want her to grow from it. Jackie saw that she needed love more in her life,
She needed
a more
love,
balance.
friendship,
Yeah.
connection, which it would help her towards her goal to reach her goal.
Of course, you got to marry a prince
Well,
and make friends with a gator that'll scare the bankers.
Correct. That's what I was to say. Like, it helps you befriend the gator that's all like, take the chump change.
Hey, you got to use your connections and resources. That's business.
The only point I was just trying to make is that I felt that the lesson that she needed to learn is that life is so much more than the dream. That the dream is not necessarily
She
like
did learn that.
the job, and she may have, but it wasn't as clear cut. Like, and it's one of those things. I just didn't like the way, at least how it's presented. It's not as clear. It's still the end of the movie. She gets married. All right, I'm gonna go start my business now, and she starts her business, and that's her happy ending. Is that she started her business.
Yeah, why not? That was her goal from the beginning. They set it up like this is her goal, to have her dream. Can't a girl have her dream?
She can, but I just didn't like the way they did it. That's all. I just didn't like the ending of it. I didn't like.
I
how
enjoyed
they
it.
did
I like the music.
And again,
I
it's a
think
good
the villain
movie.
is
It's a good
great.
movie.
It was a great villain.
Right.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
It
One
was
of the
so
best.
refreshing to get a villain where you're going, he's the bad guy.
Yep.
Easily
And
one
he
of the
deals with the
top
dark
5.
arts. He had great music.
Yep.
Boop, 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 boop. And it just like you got into it. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
a
It
trip with the lighting and
Oh,
it was so fun. I was like, I am in this now. You got a great villain.
I mean, his song,
Let's do this.
It's as good as like Be Prepared.
It is.
Oh, it's
It's
better.
better
I think it's
than
better,
Be
but
Prepared.
it's
Be
like
Prepared.
it. Yeah, it's in that like it. You knew this was like the anthem, and it was building, and you were like, I am with you, villain, to watch you, not with you. I just want to
Right.
observe you now. Like,
He's easily top 5 villain for
he's
me.
not
One of
Goob
the-
from
yeah.
like
top
Meet
5
the
villain.
Robinsons, like Goob.
Bowler hat guy.
Oh.
Could it be the best villain song in Disney?
So that would be a good debate.
Ranking the villain songs?
Yeah, which one, who is the best? Who has the best one? Yeah, that could be a discussion later. All right, I think let's move on to Tangled.
Yeah, it's
number
two.
one.
One all the
Number
way.
one.
I
It's
knew it was going to
fun.
be number one for you guys.
It is
100%.
fun. It's got great music. It's great
Yes.
fun. It's got a love story in it. It's just a complete package.
I'm
Yes.
never tired of this movie. Never.
It's the Forrest Gump. It turns on, and I stop what I'm doing.
100%.
My wife's going, "What's better, Hercules or Tangled?" And I'm just like,
Tangled.
"It's Tangled." I
Yep.
love Hercules, and I could watch it a million times. But if Tangled turns on, I'm just like, I want to watch it. I love
Yeah.
Mother Gothel's song. Mother Knows
Oh.
Best. It's meant for
Great.
a stage, and you're just
Yes.
like, I want to see this
Mother
on the
Knows
stage
Best. I Have a Dream.
now. Oh,
I
love.
See the Light.
The casting was on spot. Like, it was so good. The music was good.
Come on, you have Chuck in there. We were big fans of
I
Chuck.
know.
I know you're referencing a show from back in 2006.
right?
It's
like
funny.
it's been 18 years, Peter.
But when the movie came out and like you hear Chuck sing, or the actor,
It didn't throw you off.
it didn't throw me off. But I was like, Chuck can sing?
Oh, it's like Into the Woods. when-
Zachary Levi.
yeah,
Yeah.
Zachary Levi. He's.
He's great.
I'm glad he's moved on, where he's not just Flynn Rider. He's not
No.
Chuck.
Right.
He's done the Shazam. Was that the one?
Yeah,
He's
he
done
was in
Shazam.
Shazam.
He's been on Broadway.
Yeah, he's had a well-run career, but yeah, for me, he's always Chuck. But I was able to watch it and going, he's Flynn Rider. That's my
Yes.
problem lately with all these Hollywood actors filling in these voices.
You think of the
I
celebrity.
think of the celebrity, and I'm like, I don't really care because I know I've seen you in this film, and I don't. It just throws me off.
And
But this was good enough where it didn't.
And props to the animators for the hair.
They did
Oh,
a great
yeah.
job.
That's-
It was a very
It was the
beautiful
whole
film.
movie.
I can only imagine their nightmare when they thought, how are we going to do this?
How long's the hair? How long are we making this hair? How tall's that tower supposed to be?
It's
and
the
we gotta have
focus of
hair just as
attention.
long.
Yeah, you're focused on that hair.
Yeah. Well, they did like a special on just how like hard it was to design the hair.
They nailed it.
Yeah.
It was innovative.
Story is fantastic. Art is amazing. All the songs, all of them. I can't think of a bad song. Every single one is great. Like, it's the whole package.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would make the argument that this is the best Disney animated film that they've come out with.
And it was number 52.
Number 52.
No, 50.
Oh,
For
it's the-
streaming.
50th
Animated
that was
movie.
released.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just good, and it's the first film of this new era, really, of style. And
Right.
they just like, we're here and we're gonna rock this. And it's so crazy that like only 4 years or 3 years you have Chicken Little, and you have to
Yeah.
go through the growing pains of like such garbage to get this gem of a film. And it was like when I was doing the ratings, like this is a 5. This is a 5 Mickey bars.
This was the easiest one for me to pick. Like when we, all right, let me make my list. Tangled's number 1.
Yeah.
That was the easiest one for me.
It-
I know.
And
yeah.
for me, it was for me personally. I did do Princess of the Frog as number 1, but those two were really close.
It's a coin flip for you
It
too.
was a coin flip, but for me overall,
You
it was
connect with Princess and the
well,
Frog.
and the art.
Sure,
the
the
hand drawn
animation.
art.
I'd say the art is probably better in Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
And that's
Because
why I bumped it up to 1 than Tangle. But I'm saying Tangle is right up there.
What are you saying? You hate Tangled? How dare you, Jackie? You horrible monster!
I did not put
You
Tangle at
monster!
5.
You monster!
I'm sorry.
Pitchforks! Kill the beast!
I'm sorry. I didn't put Tangle at 5. I put it at number 2.
I'm okay. I'm being the bad guy this episode.
Yeah, make sure you're
I'm a bad guy.
But I'm not a bad
I'm not a
podcast
bad guy.
podcaster. Yeah, it's just a great movie,
Yeah.
and it's one of those that every
can't.
time my daughters want to watch it, I'm like, it's good.
Yeah.
so
you know.
in the intro we want you singing Shiny at the beginning so that we know.
No, you just think
where you
I'm
stand.
whiny because I don't like Frozen and Princess and the Frog.
And again, this was a hard
It was.
list to do. Like there wasn't like
If you
an
think too hard
easy-
about it, yes.
it wasn't as slam dunk as some of the other eras.
No.
Where like half of it was like, okay, I can easily go boom, 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 and then debate with some of the other ones.
I would say this was harder than Raiding the Renaissance.
I would say so too.
Oh no, it was easy. It's like Princess is up and down. And it just shows you Disney always wins with the princess, and then the other ones get knocked down. If you look probably at our Renaissance, they're all princesses probably as well. And when we look at the Golden Age, it's the princess. It's just a winner for Disney, but they just can't
They can't
do
go
too
to-
much.
They can't go to that well every single time.
Okay, I got a question for you. So now that you've ranked those movies, which one would you want to see a sequel to?
Well,
Not one that's already come out.
Which one's already?
They all have
They all have
sequels.
sequels.
Yeah, because Tangled has TV shows.
I
Well,
know.
Princess
So-
and the
so
Frog
does Big
doesn't have
Hero
a
6.
sequel.
But I'm saying, which one would you most want them to do a sequel
Big-
I
for?
would,
Big
I would
Hero
love to see a
6.
Big Hero 6 one. I know they have their TV show, which picks up right after the movie ends, but I would love to see a Big Hero 6 movie.
I'm guessing
too.
Jackie's answer is different.
Do you feel complete with Princess and the Frog?
I don't want them to do a sequel for Princess and the Frog.
We got Tiana's Bayou Adventures, the sequel.
Yeah, that's technically the sequel, which I'm like, on the storyline. So that's why I'm like, don't touch it. And obviously, they can't touch it because of the art style.
It's too expensive. And it would be weird to shift.
shift
You're doing the
it.
Chip and Dale, like, oh, I
Yeah.
got changed into this mode. I got
Because
the.
You
in-
see that you
you-
see what she looks like in 3D in the new.
In the attraction, it looks weird.
It does look weird.
So that's why they won't do a sequel for Princess and the Frog.
So which one?
I wouldn't mind seeing a sequel for Winnie the Pooh again. Like
Another Winnie
another
the
I
Pooh.
Winnie the
actually
Pooh.
wouldn't mind seeing with the new update to it. I like the style of, but I just
Yeah.
didn't want one big story.
Story.
I like the little chapters, like when you read the book, like it's a little adventure going throughout.
I would be more excited to see a Tangled sequel.
I
of
feel
a
like the
movie.
TV. I feel like the TV show really
Did the job.
seals up that story arc.
Yeah,
like
where they give her back her blonde hair.
Yeah. They give her back her hair. They go like they have like a whole new story arc for her and Flynn and the king and all that.
And then
like-
the head guard's daughter that protects her.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun. And they bring in some villains. It's a fun kind of like after school Disney cartoon TV show
Mhm.
that most 90s kids watched. It has that feel and it's tolerable.
And which one is underrepresented in the parks?
Ooh.
Frozen? No.
I mean, I would have said Princess and the Frog.
Well, Big Hero 6 is nowhere to be seen in the park.
Yeah, it
mean,
is.
Besides the food court.
Hey, I love the
They got
food
a
court.
food court.
I love
They
what
made-
they did with it.
And they did a good job
I bet
with
the
it.
Yelp reviews will say they enjoyed
But
the-
like you look at everything else, Tangled, she's got a bathroom
bathroom.
and she's got a whole section of
Land.
land in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Moana, she's getting
She has a experience at Disney World.
yeah, she's got her
And
experience
an
there.
attraction's coming from Moana.
Oh yeah, they've
We
already
know.
talked about that's going to be for the Magic Kingdom
Yeah.
eventually. And then Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph's not really there. It was rumored that he was going to take over the Stitch.
Oh, okay.
The Stitch attraction. So I mean, I guess he's not really present.
do we just go in there and we just
he
wreck
would-
things?
Wreck-It Ralph was going to be a big part of the Play Pavilion for Epcot as well.
We should have Wreck-It Ralph
There was plans
where
for
we
that.
destroy Tomorrowland.
I'm gonna wreck it.
Princess and the Frog, she's got a new ride. Winnie the Pooh's got his own rides. Zootopia's got a new land. And Frozen's everywhere.
I mean,
So,
it's an
I would
impactful
say-
era.
Wreck-It Ralph is probably
least
represented.
I say Fox and the Hound is the least represented of
Well,
all.
that's part
Black
of the era.
Cauldron. Black Cauldron's pretty.
Ooh, we want that. We want that.
We
That
make it in
may
the
be
villain
better
park.
than the movie. They can't do worse than the movie, right?
It's true.
It's not like we haven't had movies in the park that we don't watch, you know.
Right.
So
I was thinking about when I was watching Wreck-It Ralph, and I was like, I wish they would just bring the arcade back and have like free play for Wreck-It Ralph or something.
that would be fun. Old school. Go
Yeah.
back to that 80s, 90s feel of going to the arcade.
Yeah.
But all right, well, let us know what you guys think. How much do you hate me as a person now that I've put numbers to these movies?
You Simon Cowell.
I am. I'm the
Yeah.
Simon Cowell.
You
It's a
hate-
little pitch. No,
you
no.
hate
That's
princesses.
the other guy. No, but yeah, let us know what you think. You can message us on our social medias, our Facebook, our Instagram, our X, our you can email us at matterhornyodelers@gmail.com. But until next time, have a magical day. That's you. Auf Wiedersehen. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Matterhorn Yodelers. Please remember, before your bobsled comes to a complete stop, to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember...
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.